Hello, and thanks for joining us on To The Point. I'm Luke Clary in for Alex this evening. Tonight, City Council is hearing from the Sacramento Police Department, which is asking for significantly more money for the upcoming fiscal year. Our Jeannie Nguyen getting into the numbers and the debate. And Jeannie is live at City Hall right now with just how much more we're talking about here. Jeannie.
Luke, that meeting is happening right now behind me here at City Hall, and that's where the Sacramento Police Department is hoping that City Council will approve their budget for this year. And they are hoping for more than $228 million, and that's nearly a $10 million increase from last year. And it has some critics wondering if this is actually really necessary.
It seems as though nothing has changed within the current budgeting process.
As the vice chair of the Sacramento Community Police Review Commission, Keon Bliss is frustrated to see the Sacramento Police Department asking City Council to approve $228.2 million for their budget this year.
This is their sixth consecutive increase that they're getting. It's another $10 million.
In 2020, the department got nearly $158 million. Just last year, that number jumped to more than $219 million, and this year, they're hoping for an additional $10 million.
That budget has only continued to increase.
The department is hoping for close to $10 million from Measure U to maintain and hire staff. Timothy Davis, president of the Sacramento Police Officers Association, wasn't able to speak with us today, but did say in past years that staffing is an important part of the department's budget.
Our officers are exhausted because overtime, mandatory overtime occurs. There's been periods of time in the last year where they've had to work 7 days a week, 12 hours a day.
But for Bliss, he believes the department already has enough resources.
They are the largest department, and we're actually going to be cutting other departments that could be providing much other crucial community services, particularly in the realm of homeless services.
On top of staffing, the department plans on spending $1.6 million on body cameras and equipment, $1 million on fleet technology, more than $1 million on safety equipment, and $1.4 million on violence prevention. It also promises to expand community engagement and transparency by being proactive in releasing officer-involved shooting videos and partnering with schools to focus on youth engagement. All of this, Bliss says, can still be done without the hefty budget request.
What are they actually showing for their work?
Now, we tried asking the police department for a comment, but a spokesperson with the department says there will be no comment until the meeting is over tonight. City Council still does have to make the decision. Of course, we will keep you updated on air and online once a decision has been made. Back to you. Thank
you, Jeannie, for that reporting. I know you'll stay on this. Our Jeannie Nguyen reporting live tonight at City Hall. And let's stay on law enforcement for a moment here. Police say that illegal events featuring souped-up cars, burning rubber on city streets, or sideshows continue to be a nuisance and safety concern in our community. Just this weekend, Sacramento police stopped a massive sideshow involving hundreds of people, and ABC 10 has spoken with a lot of people who are noticing a lot more of these happening in their neighborhoods. Sacramento police tell us that they hear their community and understand their frustration. That's why the department is taking the stance of maximum enforcement and zero tolerance of sideshows within the city.
We are obviously monitoring and trying to intercept information so we can be proactive about assigning officers to these events, because they are a very draining resource on our police officers. And so we have to make sure that we can adequately staff these so we can make those arrests.
Police say that they can cite people with violations if they're participating or spectating. They can also tow your vehicle for up to 30 days, and participation can lead to an arrest. If you witness a sideshow, your best bet is to get to a safe distance and then call the non-emergency hotline at 916-808-5471. To the question, is cannabis packaging too appealing to children? Public health groups and the California PTA think yes. It's why Assemblymember Jackie Irwin wants to end the practice of selling cannabis with packaging that makes it look like candy. California Poison Control saw 200 reports of cannabis ingestion in 2010, and in 2020, that number jumped to over 1,600.
We are seeing very young children under the age of 5 developing seizures. They stop breathing, their heart stops, they need to be admitted to the intensive care unit.
The bill passed the Assembly Business and Professions Committee by a vote of 13-0. Right now, the bill sits in the Appropriations Committee, awaiting a May 18th decision on whether it will move forward to an Assembly floor vote. We're following developments at Camp Resolution. That's Sacramento's largest homeless encampment. It's located at Colfax Street and Arden Way. More than a month ago, the city of Sacramento struck a lease agreement with the nearly 60 people who live there, and now they can sleep without the fear of being kicked out for at least 120 days. The camp was originally intended to be a permanent safe site, but that idea was tossed out because of soil contamination. But despite that, camp residents say this is still their best option. And the city's goal is still to get people into housing. And over to Stockton, a new project is aiming to help young people who are homeless or in the foster system get a chance to change their lives with a permanent place to stay. Kurt Rivera has that story.
For 20-year-old Celia Rivero, her nearly 8-month-old baby Adrian has become her pride and inspiration.
My son is my world, he keeps me going through my tough time.
And she says her tough times have included being in and out of foster care in Stockton since she was 19 months old.
But when I was a teenager, I used to run away. I got locked up for something that I should have never had did, you know what I mean?
All right, but now, with the turn of shovels, it may also mean a turning point for youth like Celia. It comes in the form of this: a motel at March Lane and I-5 becoming a 69-unit permanent supportive housing complex for homeless and foster care youth.
So with a stable platform of housing, I think young people that wind up living here will have a real opportunity.
The location for this project is no accident. It's close to restaurants, a pharmacy, and San Joaquin Delta College.
This provides that housing, that stability, that safe place for people who may have never had it before. And it's that kind of stability and safety that allows people to improve their lives and break those kind of cycles.
The more than $30 million Calaveras Quarters project is funded by the state and city of Stockton.
Hi.
And it may fit perfectly with Celia Rivero's needs. She has a warehouse job, a high school diploma, with a goal of one day becoming a labor and delivery nurse. Now all she needs is stability for herself and baby.
He's the reason why I got a job. He's the reason why why I'm looking for a place.
That was our Kurt Rivera reporting in Stockton tonight. The publicly funded project started its transformation in April, and it's expected to be completed by late December this year. Coming up, our conversation on gun violence continues. We asked for your thoughts on all of the recent shootings involving teenagers. We're sharing your comments. And still to come, 2 high school students from Folsom are using cutting-edge technology to help lonely seniors find a friend, what they say could be a game changer.
We want to see this scaled up a lot, right? So we want to see people with Alzheimer's using this system. We want to see people who are struggling with the social communication because they're isolated. We want to see them really taking advantage of this system.
How these inventors are working to fight what health officials call a loneliness epidemic after the break. Well, our wet winter has left us with a whole lot of tall grass, and now a lot of it is bone dry. And it may look harmless, but as you see right there, it's perfect fuel for fires. This is your reminder that every homeowner in Sacramento County is required to remove all of the weeds and dry brush around their homes, especially as we enter wildfire season. And as we bring in Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods, it's that time of year once again to do the lawn care that we haven't had to do as much in the colder months.
Everything's growing so fast too. I mean, you mow your lawn and it's right back at it, right? So as we head through the next couple of days, our grasses are going to continue to dry out, especially for lower elevations. That's where we see our biggest risk early in the season. Later in the season, we talk about bigger wildland fires. Our highs for today in the low to mid 90s in the valley, 80s for the foothills, and 70s up top for the Sierra, where we are still seeing a whole lot of snowpack. Now that will continue to melt as we head in through our spring season. It is causing some dangerous conditions, especially through the central and southern part of the state where those rivers are running fast, high, cold, and creating flooding. Our temperature trend, we got a little relief yesterday and Sunday, but then we were right back into the mid-90s for today, and we'll stay there for at least one more day. Now, tonight is still really nice. We're in the 80s through 8 p.m., 70s after that, eventually getting to that forecast low of 61, a little bit above that average low of 52. Our sunset, though, not until 8:12. Our sunrise tomorrow at 5:53, and again, that may be the best time to get outside because our highs are right back into the 90s. Here comes that high pressure ridge with that clockwise circulation. It is pulling up that moisture from the desert southwest, bringing back the chance of showers and thunderstorms in the Sierra by the time we get to the weekend. Highs tomorrow, though, with dry weather near 70, 80s and 90s down the hill. Across the coast, we'll see highs cool, 63 for San Francisco, but head inland, we're right back into the 90s for tomorrow afternoon. Here's that chance of thunderstorms coming in Saturday and Sunday for the mountains. For the hills, we're dry and cool along the coast. Our 10-day forecast for the valley, the heat is on at least through early next week.
All right, looking forward to that cooling there, Monica. In the midst of what health officials are calling an epidemic of loneliness and isolation, 2 inventors are creating a tool to give lonely seniors a companion. And they're not even out of high school yet. That's on the other side of the break. This month, the U.S. Surgeon General declared an epidemic of loneliness and isolation in this country. Some people are in particularly difficult situations, like those in senior assisted living facilities, where it can be hard to make friends. But that may not be the case for long. In tonight's Main Point, John Bartel met with 2 high school inventors from Folsom who have developed an app using artificial intelligence to provide lonely people with an instant friend.
Life in the foothills of Placer County is peaceful.
And there's a little creek down at the bottom of the hill that flows through, and it's full of blackberry bushes.
For nearly 15 years, Beverly Johnson's mountain retirement home has been her sanctuary, a place to make and reflect on memories.
There was one with my husband when we did a walk for MS. My husband had MS.
But after losing her husband to MS, Beverly's secluded home became lonely.
A lot of times it does. There are only so many things you can do. And usually when you're doing something, you like to do it with someone else.
Hi Beverly, what kind of ingredients do you usually like to put in your salads?
But a few weeks ago, Beverly met a new friend.
I have shrimp, I have carrots. What would you recommend?
This is Jerry.
I think adding eggs, cheese, lettuce and carrots would be a great combination.
Jerry is a conversational artificial intelligence cell phone app made for lonely humans.
You know, I'm kind of really having fun with this because she makes me laugh. And even if it's a mistake, it kind of just makes me chuckle that I'm talking to a computer.
People treat her like she's a real person.
This is Rishi Ambavaneker and Rohan Kulkarni, student inventors from Vista del Lago High School in Folsom.
So we want to see this scaled up a lot, right? So we want to see people with Alzheimer's using this system. We want to see people who are struggling with these social communication because they're isolated.
Rishi and Rohan are not your typical high schoolers, and Jerry is not their first invention.
5 students, 5 brilliant minds.
I came up with the idea to create a novel EEG device that would translate the patient's thoughts into words.
Last year, Rishi was featured on Good Morning America for inventing a device that helped stroke victims communicate. And Rohan has a makeshift laboratory of inventions that fill his parents' upstairs office.
And this is a smart security system I built a few years ago, and it basically uses AI to detect faces.
Solving the world's problems. This is what these 2 friends like to do for fun, and developing Jerry was no different, except this invention had a personal meaning behind it.
So it actually started with my late grandpa. He was in the hospital for leukemia.
While in the hospital, Rishi's grandfather had limited access to visitors, and then loneliness set in.
We noticed that this wasn't actually just specific to him, but a lot of my grandparents and their friends as well have experienced this.
To solve the program, Rishi and Rohan turned to the artificial intelligence program ChatGPT.
ChatGPT is a very new general intelligence model, big language model.
This dull-looking screen is ChatGPT. It has a highly advanced artificial intelligence capability that developers can use to build different programs. Rishi and Rohan used ChatGPT to build Jerry, a simple one-button, user-friendly cell phone app for lonely people like Beverly to use.
It's not at all what I imagined the future to be. And I mean, I grew up with a program called the Jetsons. I don't know if you remember them.
So good. In the cartoon show The Jetsons, Rudy, the talking computer, was George Jetson's friend. Rudy was an artificial intelligence system that can make its own unique decisions like a human. Jerry, on the other hand, can't.
Basically, it's trained on a bunch of data from all over the internet, on a bunch of different subjects, and it's meant to just complete sentences.
Essentially, Jerry is predicting what users want to talk about, but those predictions aren't always right, and that's where Beverly comes in.
But I think he's happy when you tell him what he needs to change. And so our conversations always go really well, and he's always saying thank you, and by the next day he's fixed whatever the problem is.
Beverly's a beta tester, and every time there's a problem with Jerry, she texts back and forth with Rishi and Rohan.
Beverly has just been giving me great feedback. She always tells me, you know, improvements.
You sort of made two friends in this transition.
I did. I did.
What do you think about that?
I met Jerry, and although I haven't met him in person, I met Rishi.
Thanks to Beverly and about a dozen other beta testers, the development of Jerry is almost complete. The next step is to launch the app and get it into the hands of other lonely people. And they want to offer it to them for free. There's just one problem.
Every single question you ask costs us between half a cent and 2 cents.
With 100 users, it could probably go up to about $50 a day.
Because Jerry runs off the ChatGPT program, there's a fee for using it. The high school kids are now looking for financial backing, so Jerry can be accessible to every lonely person.
One day she said something about, do you think AI will ever catch on? And my answer was, it already has. I'm talking to you.
Reporting on the advancements of AI, I'm John Bartel.
Yeah, indeed it has caught on. If you want to learn more about Jerry, the app, and these student inventors, we have a link on what you need to know at abc10.com/to-the-point. On this show, we ask for your opinion on the stories that we tell. And just yesterday, we shared a story on how the Del Paso Heights community is concerned about gun violence among teens. State lawmakers also gathered at the Capitol to address gun violence. And this all comes just days after a shooting in Sacramento hurt 4 people, including 2 children, and an outbreak of gun crimes across our area involving teens, both victims and suspects. And so we wanted to hear from you. What do you think can be done to help protect people from gun violence? One viewer wrote in saying, there's no fix. It's only gotten worse. It's been a crisis for a very long time, and it's only getting worse. All states need tougher gun laws, and the families of teens need to be responsible monetarily or legally until 21 years old if living with family. No more soft on crime and letting criminals out early. Another viewer commented on YouTube saying, spend less time and creating laws and more time creating fathers, and our children will start acting worthy of a life that's more than combat. Whether or not fatherlessness is contributing to gun violence, several publications say that argument still needs more research. But keep your comments coming. Text us at 916-321-3310 or send us an email at tothepoint@abc10.com. Coming up, empowering others and preserving culture. How a group in Stockton is continuing the legacy of their former martial arts leader. We're back after this. Welcome back, and it's API Heritage Month. We have a special story for you tomorrow out of Stockton. Filipino Americans are preserving an important part of their culture while empowering others. Take a look.
Other martial arts, you train empty hand, then you move on to weapons. With us, it's different. We train with the weapon first. Then you start translating some of those movements to empty hand.
The way Stockton is right now, I think a lot of major cities also, there's a lot of potential to be a victim. Everybody should learn some kind of self-defense. Culturally preserve and promote the Filipino martial arts that originated from Stockton, California, so it could be remembered.
Tomorrow on To The Point, learn about the martial art of eskrima, and how a nonprofit is using it to continue the legacy of one of their former Grand Masters. Plus, we'll have an important update about PG&E's ongoing Zog fire trial. It's a story you won't want to miss. Alex is back tomorrow. We'll see you then.
Hey, it's Alex. Just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I really love hearing from everyone, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. Reach out to me on Facebook at AlexBellTV, or you can email me at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send me a text message at 916-321-3310.